Hello everyone, JohnTrigger12 back here again with another video. Now today I'm doing, once again, another JohnTrigger12 top 5 picks, where I basically get a specific topic in mind that I personally really like talking about, and give my personal top 5 of that specific topic. Now personally today, based off the title, then you already know I'm doing DC superheroes, my personal top 5 favorite and best pick of DC hero line. DC's fucking filled with thousands and fucking thousands of great fucking characters and great fucking villains. But let's get started with the superheroes, and let's go right down to number 5. It all has to go down to Green Lantern. There's been tons of versions of the Green Lantern, and there's obviously a whole line of Green Lanterns in universes, but it all goes down to my personal pick and my personal favorite, which has to be Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. He's my favorite. He's definitely the most famous. He's definitely the most commonly known. But I just had to give it up to him. He's just my favorite Green Lantern. He's just awesome. He's funny. He's dedicated. He's a war veteran. He's kind of like Captain America if you gave him a ring and it can do whatever you want. That's basically what Hal Jordan is. He's just a badass. That's pretty much. Also, I just love the fact that you can have a ring that basically does. It's just one of those things where it's like, God damn, dude. When you're a kid, you just believe in that ring. That ring is your whole life, and you could just. It's your imagination. The ring can do whatever the beholder wishes. With his imagination and concentration, you can imagine and do anything with that ring and accomplish anything. And I think that's the great thing about it. Of course, it does have a major flaw, which is the fact that it does run out of energy, and you have to say a ridiculously long amount of time of the stupid sentence where you have to recharge it in a lamp. But at the end of the day, Green Lantern is a freaking badass character. And I say that he still has yet gotten his dues in live action form, but I am still hoping that one day Green Lantern does get an epic, cool movie that he deserves. With Hal Jordan. It doesn't matter. It could be any Green Lantern, but I specifically would like Hal Jordan in return. But let's move off of that and go right down to my number 4, which has to go down to The Flash. Once again, just like Green Lantern, there's been tons and tons of different types of Flash. I definitely specifically like the second Flash, which has to be Barry Allen. You know, I just had to give it up to Barry Allen. I like Wally West too, because he brings a good element of comedy to the situation that he's in. He's kind of like a Blue Beetle, except bringing it over to the Flash. The Flash in general is kind of a comedic character, you know, at the end of the day, but Barry Allen's the more serious of the Flashes, and he definitely takes his job seriously and definitely suffers. I get he's definitely inferior when it comes to bigger, higher up, because he has specifically only one power. You know, he doesn't have super strength, he can't fly, he's just super fast. He's the fastest character in comics history. You know, so he's kind of inferior, but at the same time you love him because he's just an awesome character with an awesome costume. He's just a badass, cool guy, you know. And who doesn't want to be super fast? Just to be like, he's faster than the speed of light. He's so fast that bullets can't even phase him, and he can practically vibrate through walls because his molecules are so fast. They just go. I can't even comprehend that. That's why I have to do sound effects while I say it. It's just awesome. But I just love Barry Allen's Flash, and I do really appreciate the fact that they're bringing him back to the TV world with CW's version of the Flash. I do have some quirks with it, but at the end of the day, I still haven't had the full package of Grant Gustin's Flash, so I'm definitely hoping. But let's go down to the 3, the Holy Trinity. Let's go right down to it. Number 3 has to go to Wonder Woman. I mean, like, she's the most badass chick of comics anything, and she's probably, like, possibly the only woman who can get away with being strong and looking super hot while doing it. She's a mega feminist, you know, she's the ultimate femme. You know, but it works in her favor because she has a humongous following and she's epic. You know, she's her costume and her name embodies epic for women. She's a powerhouse when it comes to female embodiment of superheroes. You know, she's one of those chicks who can get down with the dogs, you know, so to speak. I don't mean it in sexual format, but you know what I'm getting at. Wonder Woman's just an awesome chick, you know. She's just the ultimate awesome chick, you know. She's just one of those female superheroes that you have to be like, if there's a person who rivals Superman, it's her. There's definitely plenty of other superhero females with the same powers as Superman. You know, there's your Supergirls and your Power Girls and whatnot, but you just have to give it up to Wonder Woman. And plus, I do really hope to see how she's presented in the Man of Steel universe and the upcoming DC cinematic universe. So I'm really hoping to see what that's all about. But overall, for this list, I have to give it up to Wonder Woman as top 3 favorite and best superhero in the DC line. But let's go right down to it to 2. Has to go down, and I know it's kind of a twist, but you just had to see it coming from me. Has to go right down to Superman. Superman, I know he's the strongest, he's the first, he's the best, he's the ultimate superhero of all time. There's nothing he can't do, and there's nothing he hasn't done. He's been around since the 20s and 30s, all the way to now, just saving the world. And having a blast doing it, and it's definitely has become an icon. You know, not only his costume, but just the name Superman. It's just epic and awesome in its own right. But I know, even with all that, I still had to give it up to him and just put him my number 2. He definitely is in the top 5, but I just had to put him in number 2. He's just Superman is just one of those characters where it's like, if you're going to be in the comics, you just can't not like Superman. There's a lot of people who are against comics, and there's a lot of people who don't read comics, but everybody knows who Superman is. Everybody wears the Superman shield. You don't even have to give a fuck. It's kind of like people who like Marvel. They don't even have to read the comics. They don't even know what Guardians of the Galaxy is, but they're going to like it because Marvel has it. And it's kind of the same thing Superman has. He definitely has a complex where it's like his name and his image is so popular in pop culture and just in life general. It just brings in just more followers, you know. It's like Twitter before there was Twitter, you know. It's just Superman is Twitter. Superman is just awesome. He's just a badass character. There's no reason liking comics if you don't like Superman. It's just a waste of time. And I do love all the actors who has played Superman over the years. I definitely just have a passion for Superman. It's just awesome. But right before I get to my number 1, let's give some honorable mentions. Like I said prior to this, to my top 5, there's thousands and thousands of great DC characters, and there's plenty who didn't get on the list. And I know this list may come off as a little cliche, but at the end of the day, it is my list, and it's my personal opinion. But I do have to give it up to all these other great characters, like my personal favorites, like there's Plastic Man, there's Aquaman. I know what you're saying, Aquaman, really, but Aquaman of today is pretty badass. It's not Aquaman of Super Friends, it's fucking Aquaman, badass. Fucking King of Atlantis, King Arthur, fucking badass. You know, but then you have other characters like Cyborg. I know it's more of a Teen Titans thing, but Cyborg of the New 52 is a badass motherfucker, and I love that shit. Martian Manhunter, various other Green Lanterns, you know, like John Stewart, and, you know, just the various others. You have Green Arrow. I know he's kind of a douche, but I like Green Arrow. Hawk Girl, Hawkeye. Let's see, who else is Plastic Man? Did I say Plastic Man already? I don't remember. Some Power Girl, Supergirl. There's just plenty and plenty of fucking awesome DC characters that I just really like. You know. Blue Beetle. I wouldn't say Booster Gold, but maybe Booster Gold. I kind of have a distaste for him, but he's still a pretty interesting character. But enough of honorable mentions. I mean, if you want to get a general gist of great honorable mentions of which characters to go for, just go into DC Comics. Just fucking go and check them out. They're an awesome. I know Marvel's the big hot shit, you know, the new kids on the block, so to speak, even though they've been here forever and now they're only getting their notoriety. I know I said that wrong. But DC's always been there. It's always been a classic. It's always been an icon, and it's definitely worth a read, definitely worth a watch, definitely worth your money, you know? But let's get right down to it, to my number one, which has to go. I know it's a little cliche coming from me, but you had to see it coming. It has to go to Batman. Batman's just the ultimate badass. What's the point of there? If you can't be a fan of, like, not even just comics, but like cartoons, video games, and movies nowadays, and not like Batman. I know Quentin Tarantino can get away with it apparently, but if you're just a regular guy and you're not like the director of Reservoir Dogs, you have to like Batman. It's kind of like bashing Han Solo and not liking Han Solo from Star Wars. It's impossible. How do you not like Han Solo? He's like one of the most best parts of the entire fucking franchise, besides Luke Skywalker and fucking, you know, Chewie. Batman's just an awesome fucking badass character. I've loved him ever since I was a kid. It's like he's definitely like the opening to getting into comics, but once you get your stay and you get your general gist of DC, but not only DC but like comic book history, Batman's been like the major influence in like most of them. I know he came in post Superman era. But for the most part, Batman's has like really ruled comics and has like just dominated popular culture. I mean, like, Batman movies are just badass. The Dark Knight trilogy, come on. You have the 89 Batman. You have the comics. There's been tons and tons of just great writers and artists to work on. You know, you have your animated series. You know, I've already done this. You know, I did my top 5 Superman and top 5 Batmans, and you want to get the general gist of what I personally like, you go watch them. But generally, there's nothing to not like about Batman. I know there's, and plus, it is kind of it's kind of the fault, but at the same time, it's not putting him down in any ways. It's a good plus. You know, Batman has the greatest rogues gallery in comics history. His villains top every other villain in comic book history ever. You have fucking Catwoman, Two-Face, Clayface, fucking the Joker. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, it's just ultimate. You know, Batman's the full package. You know, he has the Bat family. You have all the Robins. You have fucking Bane's badass. You have fucking Lucius Fox, Alfred helping them out, James Gordon. You know, there's just nothing to not like about Batman. And of course, if you're a DC fan, it's impossible not to like Batman or read Batman comics. It's just one of those things that you just have to, if you're not into it, you better get into it as soon as possible. But I'm just going to end it here. I've been rambling way too long, but that's been my personal thoughts. Of course, this video is very subjective. It's my personal thoughts. It's my personal top 5 pick. But what's your personal top 5? Like I said, there's hundreds and thousands of great DC characters and superheroes. What's your favorite? What's your top 5? And why is that? But personally, that's my top 5. I know coming from me, it sounds a little cliche. I should have picked more obscure, but at the end of the day, they are the best and the greatest of the DC superheroes and the most well-known. So, even if a comic book fan who's not really a comic book fan, you can still get into them, you know, because of what they've done to pop culture, you know, so. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and that's been John Trigger 12's top 5 pick of my personal favorite DC superheroes. All right.